Welcome to the Sekonic C-800 Spectrometer video series. In this video, you'll learn how to set up your C-800 Spectrometer to customize it to your preferences for quick and easy operation. Let's get started. Turn on the power of your meter by pressing the power button, located on the left side of the meter. While waiting for the opening start screen, you can tap the LCD to go directly to the measuring screen for quicker use. Let's first take a look at what the setting icon offers. Here, you can customize, edit a preset, conduct dark calibration, or display the information about your meter. Let's press the display mode icon in the upper right-hand corner on the measuring screen. This will take you to the display selection screen. Touch the setting icon to display the settings screen. In the settings screen, you can go to the next page or previous page by pressing the up and down arrow button in the lower left-hand corner. There are 11 items you can select to customize your meter for your personal preferences. In addition, there's a reset button that returns all settings back to default. White text indicates customizable items. Yellow text indicates currently set items. Let's select shutter speed step. You can select 1 step, third step, or half step increments for shutter speeds in flash measuring mode. Select third step, for example, and touch the OK button to save the settings and go back to the previous screen. Next, select LB step for light balancing index value. LBI is the correction value between the target color temperature and the actual measured color temperature, expressed in one of 3 ways: 1 per megakelvin, 1 deca per megakelvin, 0.1 deca per megakelvin. So what is 1 mega per Kelvin? This is the unit of measurement based on the International System of Units and is equivalent to the traditional unit of myrid. Regardless of which measurement increment you select, the measured value is always displayed in its equivalent value. Most filter brands show 1 per megakelvin or myrid value for LB filter shift. However, Fujifilm's LB filters, such as LBB2, show the LB value in 1 deca per megakelvin increments. For our tour today, let's keep 1 per megakelvin as our example and press the Cancel button to go back to the previous screen without changing any settings. The next selection is camera filter brand. You have the choice of selecting Kodak Raton 2, Fujifilm, or Lee filtration systems. Your selected filter brand and recommended filtration values always appear in the measure screen of the camera filter mode. However, if it's necessary, you can easily change a filter brand while in the measuring screen by selecting brand and making your change. Next, you can also select the light filter brand. You can select Lee, Rosco Cinegel, or Rosco E-Color Plus filtration systems. Your selected brand and recommended filtration values always appear in the measuring screen of the lighting filter mode. However, you can easily change a filter brand while in the measuring screen by selecting brand and making your change. The next customized setting is white balance step. Here you can select a unit per step that is displayed on each grid cell in the white balance correction mode measuring screen. The adjustment range is from blue amber 0.5 to 100, 1 per megakelvin, to green magenta 0.5 to 20 index. Some cameras have white balance direct adjustment. However, the value of these grid cells vary depending on the camera make and model. Therefore, it's suggested that you match the settings to the camera. The grid consists of horizontal blue and amber grids, along with vertical green and magenta grids. The blue and amber grids contain 5 mirrored steps in the chart, which are equivalent to 5 megakelvin steps. The increments of adjustment are in 0.5 step increments, which is 2.5 mirrored or 2.5 megakelvin. The green and magenta grids contain 0.05 diffusion density, which is the equivalent to a 5cc filter number or 2cc index. The increments of adjustment are in 0.25 step increments, which is the same as a 1.25 cc filter number or 0.5 cc index. Next is the unit of illuminance. Illuminance is the amount of incident light falling on a surface and correlated with the human brightness perception. On this screen, you can select which unit of measurement you need when measuring illuminance. Lux, lux seconds, foot candles, foot candle seconds, lux, lux seconds, foot candles, foot candle seconds. In some countries, the C-800 doesn't display illuminance and exposure in foot candles and foot candle seconds due to legal restrictions. In this case, the unit of illuminance button will not appear in the settings screen. While you're in the measuring screen, you can select both lux only or foot candle only. This setting is located in the display item selection screen. Next is color space for hue and saturation. Here you can select the color space HSI, HSV, and white point D65, D55, D50, 3200 Kelvin, 2800 Kelvin to use for hue saturation measurement. In HSI, color space is an important color model because it represents colors similar to how the human eye senses color. It represents every color in three components: hue, H, saturation, S, and intensity, I. Represented here, a cone graph, hue is shown from 0 to 365 degree as an angular dimension to represent color. HSV is the abbreviation of hue, saturation, and value, which describes a color space, hue and tint, in terms of their shade, saturation, and their brightness value. HSV and HSI are different in their interpretation of brightness and lightness. HSV calculates the V value as the amount of light or power of the light source. However, HSI uses L, lightness, as a measure of how much white is in the color model. Selecting the white point is also very important as it affects the value of the lighting equipment being used and the actual measurement taken. It's important to make sure which white point is used in your light source to measure and set the same value in the C-800 so the hue saturation values can be matched. Now let's go to the next page by pressing the down arrow button in the lower left-hand corner. The next customizable setting is Spectrum Y-axis scale. Here you can select relative, auto, or any specific number of the spectral irradiance as the maximum display value for the Spectrum Y-axis. But what is it? Irradiance is the power received by a surface per unit area and can be referred to as the intensity of power, in this case the intensity of light. So spectral irradiance specifically is the irradiance of a surface per unit of wavelength, watts per square meter per nanometer. Let's review our choices. Relative spectral distribution chooses the highest peak output to set as the 1.0 or 100% value and compares all other measurements spectral readings according to the peak or 1.0 spectral distribution. Auto spectral distribution chooses the appropriate y-axis value based on the readings measured automatically and plots them on the spectrum graph. Spectral irradiance uses a specific value that can be selected from 1.0 to 100 micros multiplied by watts per square meter per nanometer. Next is auto power offsetting. Here, you can select a time duration before the power automatically turns off the meter after the last use. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, no auto power off. Next is the backlight brightness. Depending upon where you use the meter, you can select the LCD backlight brightness. The choices are dark, normal, or bright. To save battery power and for indoor use, dark and normal are ideal. For better visibility outdoors, the bright setting is the best. The next customizable setting is Auto Dimmer. Auto Dimmer helps save battery power by dimming the backlight after selected duration. 20 seconds, 40 seconds, 60 seconds, no dimmer. The last setting is language. Select the language display in the meter from English, Japanese, or simplified Chinese. There may be times when you want to delete your customized settings. In this case, you can select Initialize Customized Items. A screen will display asking if you want to initialize the content of Customized. If you select Yes, all settings will be returned to the default mode. Reset only applies to the content of the customized settings. Other settings such as memorized values or other hardware settings are not affected. Now let's go to the next screen by tapping the down arrow button in the lower left-hand corner. Under Edit a Preset, you can see Preset Editing. Presets are a quick way to load adjustments to your camera and light source filter recommendations. The Spectrometer has been calibrated to Sekonic standards. However, if the indicated compensating values do not provide the desired or expected color reproductions, then you can modify the filter compensation values. In this case, if you save the compensation values in memory as a preset number and then take a measurement, you can display the results with your compensation values. Also, when you use several target color temperatures, you can easily set the target color temperature by recalling one of the presets in the toolbox, even if you don't input a target color temperature every time. For example, let's set the target color temperature to 3200 Kelvin in the preset editing screen. Select a preset number from 1 to 19. Then, touch the Pre-Selection List button to select Displayed. Next, touch the Preset Name button to name it. Here we can just input 3200. By touching the Target CCT button, we can input a temperature value of 2500 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin. If necessary, you can edit the LB index and the CC index correction value to modify the filter compensation. For this example, we're not using a compensation value, just a frequently used target color temperature. Pressing the Close button will complete the preset editing. Once you edit a preset, preset selection in the toolbox on the measuring screen is activated. We'll review more about the toolbox later. Next is dark calibration. Dark calibration should be performed when there's a big change in temperature from the time the meter was turned off and when it's turned back on again, or every 24 hours. With the exception of temperature changes or 24-hour period, the dark calibration is omitted during power on. If you should need to perform a dark calibration manually, you can select Yes on the Perform Dark Calibration screen. In addition, you must rotate the light selector ring to the CAL position. By tapping the Product Information button under Display the Information, provides a quick review of the following information: model name, serial number, firmware version, user information. This information is only displayed here. Finally, tapping the Regulation button displays the symbols, approved number, regulation name, etc., which the meter is compliant with. Tap the Close button twice until you return to the display mode selection screen. Now let's take a look at the toolbox on the measuring screen by tapping the text icon. On the measuring screen, you will see the wrench icon at the lower right-hand corner for the toolbox screen. Tap the wrench icon to enter the toolbox. There are 3 settings in the toolbox which are frequently used while measuring: preset selection, memory title, memory management. If you have no preset or no memory, preset selection and memory management buttons will be grayed out. Let's take a look at preset selection first. As we explained earlier, you can create and store presets and edit a preset prior to measuring different light conditions or color effects or whenever you need to use it. Let's select the 3200 Kelvin preset and press the OK button. The display returns to the text measuring screen, and the set preset number P1 appears on the status bar, and the preset target color temperature is set automatically. The next selection in the toolbox is the memory title. Here you can store lighting information for a single or multiple group of light sources. Up to 99 measurements can be stored and recalled in any measurement mode. Press the keypad icon and the keypad screen appears horizontally. This provides a quick and easy way to input titles that have letters and numbers. In addition, you can name or rename the memory title of the stored light source later with memory management. The last selection in the toolbox is memory management. Here you can recall a memorized measurement by selecting the specific title and memory number using the blue background indicator as a selection guide. Once you have made your selection, tap the recall button to activate the memorized measurement. You can also rename or clear a memorized measurement by tapping the recall or edit button. The memory recall screen displays the mode that was viewed when the light source was measured. To alert you that you are viewing recall data, the background screen color is always green. If you want to view the memory recall in a different display, simply touch the display mode icon to select one of the other modes in the memory recall display mode selection screen. At any time, you can return to the memory management screen and edit the memory title to whatever you like. Simply tap the edit button and then the rename button. The memory rename screen appears, and you can use the keypad vertically for quick numerical titles or horizontally for alphanumerical titles by tapping on the keyboard icon. Once you're done, just tap the OK button. In addition, at any time you can return to the memory management screen and clear a title, memory, or both. There may be situations when you need to delete the title of a memorized value, but not the measured memorized value. Or you may want to delete the value, but not the name. In either case, select the memorized value by highlighting it with a blue indicator bar and select the action you want to take. The C-800 also includes a special hardware setting screen. To enter the screen, the meter must be turned off. Then, while holding down the menu button, press the power button until you see the hardware setting screen appear. This screen provides adjustments for the touchscreen location, editing the user information, and a factory reset. Let's tap the Adjust Touch Panel button first. Here you can teach the meter how much pressure you normally use to select various touchscreen actions. You will notice there is a cross in the upper left-hand corner. With your finger, touch the center of the cross until it moves to the next corner, and repeat this process until the screen asks you to confirm the touch adjustment by tapping the OK button. Next, let's personalize our meter by selecting the Edit User Information. Here, we can enter a numerical number to identify our meter, or we can choose the keyboard icon and turn the meter horizontally to enter alphanumerical characters, such as unnamed. Once we tap OK, the screen goes back to the main hardware settings screen, and we can see the new name of the meter displayed under the Edit User Information button. Finally, it may be necessary under certain circumstances to reset the meter back to factory settings. There can be many reasons for a reset, but most of the time it's because multiple users have changed settings in the meter, and it can be time-consuming to return the meter settings back to your preferences. We can reset the C-800 by tapping the Factory Reset button. The screen will ask us if we are sure we want to reset as a safety warning. We can cancel or select Yes. If we select Yes, the meter resets itself to the original factory settings. To learn more about the C-800, watch the next video in this series.